My name is Joan Nyakango, a Teach for Kenya fellow. Teach for Kenya is one of the partners with Nabu. I work at Gramojoy Pre and Primary School, one of the partner schools of Teach for Kenya. Gramojoy Pre and Primary School is in Mukuru, Njenga slums in Embakasi South. I first heard about Nabu in 2023 when I was placed in Gramojoy as a fellow. One of fellows in the nearby school, Njenga Primary, by the name Esther, told us about this amazing app that you were able to get stories from. And since we had a deficit of storybooks in our school, I said, why not? So I downloaded the app firstly, and I used to read stories to my learners in grade 3. So that is when I first heard about Nabu. Then advancing, we had some training and professional development for teachers, courtesy of Nabu. When I stepped into Gramojoy Pre and Primary School, there was a challenge of language, the speaking and the communication, English basically, and even Swahili. Being in a low-income setup, the language is literally infiltrated with a lot of sheng. So I really wanted to, as my learners advanced, I wanted them to really get rid of this sheng and speak good English or good Kiswahili. So that was when I realized that it's only through reading that my learners can really build on their language skills and on their speaking skills and on their confidence and their writing skills. So that is where Nabu stepped in a big way. The number one thing that has significantly been impacted in my learners is their confidence and the love for reading. My learners now love reading because of the amazing stories that they come across, stories they can easily relate to in their context. Yeah, so because there are things that they can relate to as African children, they really enjoy the stories and their confidence has been built up. They can relate to the characters in the Nabu and say, if Sam or Stella or Kaweria can do this, why can't I do this? So confidence has really increased. Number two, there's a love for reading in my learners now. I see them searching for storybooks. Teacher, give us this storybook. Teacher, can we read another story? They've really learned how to love reading. And there's an interest to coming to school. You know, when we were growing up, you're really told, go to school and read. But the things that can inspire you or come to school are such things like stories. Children learn a lot from stories and reading. Being in a low-income setup, my school sometimes lacks some resources like the storybooks. So we discovered a community library nearby known as Mikato, Amshare. So we used to walk around 20 minutes to go to the library so that we could access storybooks. But since we started using Nabu, we still don't have to walk that. Sometimes we sit down in our class and just do a read aloud in our class. This has helped in the time saving also and the learners' fatigue. That is one major convenience I can talk about. So sometimes we save on time. Instead of using those 20 minutes, we could set up something and do other things with our time as a class. We access books easily at our sitting position, if I could say so. Yeah, so we have had a lot of books to read from. These learners come across these stories. So when you're introducing a science lesson or a science and technology lesson or something, they can come back and visualize what they read in those storybooks. So it has made learning very easy, even in the other learning areas, not only English. So it has cut across all other learning areas. Firstly, read-alouds have become an interesting part of our classes or our library lessons. Yeah, so for me, it is interesting to see these learners engage, especially in the interactive read-aloud. They want to take part of it. They are very interested and they enjoy the reading more than giving them books to read only on their own. But when you engage them in the read-aloud sessions, they're interested, they become part of it. Even the most quiet learner actually talks in class because of that. So you see how amazing stories are, and thank to Nabu, we can get these trainings that enable us to get how to really interact with the learners through reading, not the traditional way of reading stories or comprehensions or letting them read on their own. When they read with their teacher, they really feel confident and know that our teacher is here reading with us. That builds something in them. That has changed so much in my class. And it has built this confidence of even the most shy learner in my class. Yeah. They can really come up and tell me, this is what happened, or when they're talking to each other, critical thinking, and even communication has also improved. There is a learner who didn't know how to really talk in front of the class, if I can say so. But when we started read aloud, or even using the Nabu app, I saw confidence building in that learner. For the first time, I saw that learner coming in front of the class and saying, "Teacher, I want us to read this," or coming and demonstrating or acting out something. That was amazing, and it touched my heart, because I felt that that learner has really been impacted, and there's something I've changed in that learner. That one, as a teacher or as an educator, is something very, very interesting and very fulfilling.